Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first video that I'll be posting to help with the virtual classroom situation that we are moving to. I hope all of you have been doing well and staying safe. This is going to be kind of how we do things for the next couple of weeks, but you'll be getting an email that will have the assignments posted that you'll be doing over the next couple of weeks. And I said that you'll be doing Study Island first to review solving quadratic equations. And then I also said in the assignment that I was going to be posting a video on my YouTube channel. I'll do all of this on Google Classroom as well, of where to find a sample problem. So on Study Island, the very first question, at least that I had, was 3x squared plus 30x plus 48 equals 0. I know this is a quadratic equation because my term has an x squared, and I know that I'm solving and not factoring this quadratic equation because there's an equals 0. So I need to find two places where x equals something. Those are going to be my two solutions. And we've talked about several different ways to solve quadratic functions. The first way is by graphing. We did this a couple of weeks ago, and we plug our equation, this part of our equation, into our y equals in our calculator, and we find the table in the two places where y is 0, my two x-intercepts, or zeros, or roots, or solutions. So hopefully you were able to check out a calculator. If you have not, you should be able to pick those up from the car line, pick up and drop off. And also you should be able to check out a Chromebook as well. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email me. Okay, so just a good practice when you get a brand new calculator is to clear this out. And you guys remember how to do this. Second plus 712 clears out your calculator. And like I said with graphing, all you need to do is go into your y equals function in your calculator and then put this first part of the equation in. So 3x squared plus 30x plus 48. You don't do the equals 0 part, you just put that first part in. And when I graph it, I can see that this parabola has two x-intercepts. It has two places where my x-axis is crossed. So I'm going to find out where those places are. I'm going to go into the table, and I'm going to find the two places where y is 0. Not where x is 0, but where y is 0. Oops, I put this in incorrectly. Blunder. 48. Okay, my first one is at -8. My second solution is at x equals -2. So those would be my two answers. Those would be my two solutions. But I also taught you guys a couple other ways that you can use to solve quadratic functions. So the second way is by factoring. And you guys loved solving by factoring because this is your a equals, b equals, and c equals. So 3, 30, and 48. I'm going to circle a equals 3 because that means I need to DRS. All right, so now I'm going to set up my diamond. A times c goes on top and b goes on the bottom. 3 times 48 is 144. And my b is 30. Now, I taught you guys a trick. If the numbers are super big for your top cell, you can put 144 divided by x or divided by whatever number it is, and you can go to the table and you can see the whole number of values that will add to be positive 30. Oop, and there we go, 6 and 24. So positive 6, positive 24. Now I'm going to write my factors. X plus 6, x plus 24. And I'm not done yet because I needed to circle this a equals 3 value and divide by a, that's the d for DRS. The r stands for reduce, so 6 divided by 3 is positive 2. 12 divided by 3 is positive 8. And I don't have to swing, my s is swing. So now according to the zero property rule, this times this equals 0, which means either x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 8 is 0, or they both equal 0. So x plus 2 equals 0 or x plus 8 equals 0. And now I'm going to solve for x by using inverse operations. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. This is going to give me x equals negative 2. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. And this will give me x equals negative 8. And those are my answers, not my factors, but my solutions. And then the final way is by using the quadratic formula. This is what we learned right before spring break. And this is something that you can always use to solve. And this is also something that you don't have to memorize. This would have been on your reference sheet, which you have full access to either through your journals or on Study Island. There's also a tool for that. So the quadratic equation is f of x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and all of that is over 2a. So go ahead and set up your a equals, your b equals, and your c equals from your original equation. So a is 3, b is 30, and c was 48. And so now all I'm going to do is go through this equation, and instead of writing my variables, I'm going to write my numbers. So negative b, negative 30 is my b, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 30 squared. I'm going to put it in parentheses. Minus 4. A is 3 in parentheses. C is 48 in parentheses. All over 2a. And I'm putting all my numbers in parentheses because that means that I'm going to multiply. Now this can be intimidating, but I told you guys that all I want you to do first is find what the number is underneath my square root sign. Not putting it in with my square root yet, but putting it in exactly as you see it with parentheses and all. So 30 squared minus 4 a c equals 324. Okay, so I've got negative 30 plus or minus the square root of 324 over 2 times 3 is 6. Now, if I had substituted in a negative value for b, if my b was negative 30, you guys know that a negative times negative makes this a positive. But when you substitute in a positive b value into your equation, it now changes to a negative. I don't need to change that to a positive. That would have been if I'd substituted in a negative 30. But now I need to see, is the square root, second, and then x squared, is the square root of 324 a whole number? Luckily it is. So it's 18. So then this becomes negative 30 plus or minus 18 over 6. I don't have to have the square root anymore because I already solved for the square root. So now this is going to break up into two answers. Negative 30 plus 18 over 6, or negative 30 minus 18 over 6. And that comes from your plus or minus sign. So now let's figure out what this is. Negative 30 plus 18 is negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. And then negative 30 minus 18 is negative 48 divided by 6 is negative 8. And you can see that in all three of the methods that we did, we were still able to get the same consistent answer. So I hope that this was helpful to all of you guys. These are the 3 different methods that we use to solve quadratic equations. I want you guys to work on the other 9 questions that you have on Study Island. And please let me know if you have any questions. Please email me or please use my phone number. And then just continuously check Google Classroom. I'll be sending updates and assignments on there. I hope you guys are doing well. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.